Thank you.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
My name is Fred Carey. I'm an Elkhart City firefighter. Now, I don't think there's anybody in the room that would disagree that your plan makes sense. Now, with that being said, that lets me know that you'll have great opposition on Capitol Hill, as well as with big business.
Because it makes sense, you know that
Exactly.
Capitol Hill will oppose it, I guess.
Exactly. As well as with big business.
Right.
So, would you be opposed to using executive orders to kick off your plan?
Well, look, I mean, there's some things that we can do, I think, by executive order. I'll give you an example. On the energy front, the federal government is the largest energy user in the world. All right? The federal government uses more energy than any other institution on the planet. So for me to say, by executive order, we are going to make sure that our buildings are energy efficient, that our fleet is energy efficient, that every car driven by every federal agency is getting high gas mileage. For us to think about how we are using energy in the federal government, those are some steps that you can take that make some immediate change and show people that we're serious. But by the way, one of I think the big challenges that I didn't mention earlier that I want to pursue is just making our government work again in an efficient, effective way. You know, I don't care whether you are a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or a Green Party member. Look, you don't want to see your tax money wasted. And so, you know, whether it's the Pentagon buying a $500 hammer or it's some sort of social service program that no longer works but is still on the books because nobody's bothered to evaluate it, you know, we've got to look and see, are there ways to make government more efficient? Every business has to constantly think about how they are improving their services. And if they don't, then they go out of business. Well, the same principle has to apply when it comes to government. You know, if we can use technology, to cut red tape and make it easier for small businesses to apply for various permits or loans or what have you, we should use that technology. We should apply it. We should make that investment. If we can reduce paperwork, you know, then we should be eliminating that. Look, I'll give you a simple example. Student aid forms. Right now, through the federal student loan program. Anybody gone through that recently? How much fun is that? Why don't we just send your income tax form to the government so that they can evaluate what you are eligible for and then just give you back the loans that you're eligible for? I mean, that's an example of things that can be done without some big legislative package. But having said all that, when it comes to energy, an overall energy package for America, when it comes to health care, those things are going to require major legislation. And in order to get major legislation, you're right, people are going to be fighting it. The forces of the status quo, you know, the insurance and the drug companies, they like the system as it is because they make a big profit on it. They're not going to want to change, for example, a system so that we can negotiate for the cheapest available price on drugs. That's not something they're going to, you know, be cheering for. The only way we're going to be able to move big legislation like this through Congress is if we have a new spirit of trying to get things done instead of scoring political points in Washington. And that's something that requires both Democrats and Republicans to focus on. Is just trying to get stuff done instead of trying to think about the next election all the time. But the second thing and the most important thing is there's got to be accountability to the American people. That's where you come in. See, I've said from the start of this campaign, I can't do it without you. That's true to get elected president, but it's also true to be a good president. All of you are going to have to continue to pay attention and stay involved even after the election's over. You've got to know what these debates are about. You've got to have a sense of what's true and what's not, what's important and what's trivial, who is fighting for you and who is fighting for special interests and lobbyists in Washington. You're going to have to be involved in that process, and that's why we're going to encourage transparency in government, putting legislation on the internet, making sure that we have electronic town hall meetings so that people can stay informed in the process. But you ultimately are going to be what helps me get these major pieces of legislation passed, because you can put pressure on members of Congress that are much more powerful than any pressure that I can put on. All right, we got time for one more question, and it's a woman's turn. And I think I'm going to have to. All right. Although I've got to say, there was a cute young girl back there there she is. I might call on her too, just so she gets the last word.